Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be playing Zombie Survival version 4.7. This is the 3-wall entrance version, which I think is the official one, but I'm not positive. I've seen a 1-wall version of this, a 2-wall, and a 3-wall, and honestly all of them seem pretty comparable. I will say that 3-wall does seem to be... Oh, this is annoying. Hopefully blue leaves, if not that'll be a pain. Anyway, 3-wall to me seems actually a little bit strangely wide, so it wouldn't surprise me if this was actually not the real he decided to move into my base. This will make the game easier, which isn't inherently bad. Not a fan of this. This is actually a pretty small base. I was going to fill up about 95% of it myself. Well, at this point, there's not too much I can do. Unfortunately, if I wasted the solid 1 to 2 minutes to run to the top left of the map, I would pretty much be setting myself up for defeat. So I'll just have to tolerate this. Don't be a blue. Absolute chump. Anyway, yeah, so the objective of this game is to survive for 20 waves. To do this, you build towers, you upgrade your income, and you just try to do enough damage to take out the final boss on wave 20. If you don't defeat the boss on wave 20 and all players die, you lose the game. If you do defeat the boss, you win. Pretty simple. As far as defenses go, the key thing for defense is just getting strong enough towers and 3 workers. 3 is unfortunately the max you can get. Honestly, I feel like it should probably be 9, just 3 workers per wall, but it's not. Which means defending 3 walls is actually a little bit of a pain, because if the enemies split their attacks, let's say 3 attack the top, 3 attack the middle, and 3 attack the bottom, you won't actually have enough DPS to take out all of the enemies, so it can be a bit of a challenge. Looks like blue is just, well, he could be copying me, or he could just be doing this because it's pretty much the simplest start. The variety of starts in this game is actually not very large, at least in my experience. The enemies... what a pain. Now he's trying to build walls. Let me just... Why are you here, blue? Oh, that's... These are 1 gold. I will just destroy it. Yeah, that's about what I was expecting for a reply. Okay. Well, this is going to be, yeah, trivially easy. With double the DPS from towers, very easy. But yeah. So, as far as the start that I was mentioning, getting 100 wood for your first worker is pretty essential. If you don't do that, you will fall behind on income. You alternatively can rush getting gold income generators and try to invest it all into advanced speed harvesting. In my experience though, that does not seem to work out quite as well, which is why I prioritize getting 3 harvesters first.
Ready to work. Our allied town is being attacked.
Looks like blue managed to get about 5 seconds ahead of me somehow. He's going for income now. I'll be going for 3 harvesters first. I guess this will be interesting to see who ends up ahead in total income. Yeah. Usually I like to go for speed tower 2 here as opposed to upgrading the walls. Either way is fine. And yeah, the lower level harvesters don't benefit from the advanced speed harvesting upgrade that only applies to your main survivor. And they also gather wood at a much slower rate by default. Your main harvester gets 2 wood per hit, whereas the lesser harvester only gets 1 wood per hit, which means they're at half the speed. This shouldn't be too much of a problem, but yeah. Or well, it's annoying, but it's not a problem in the sense that there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah. So we upgraded our food supplier to a food supplier level 2, which is the exact same amount of wood for the exact same amount of food, except you don't have to build it with your villager, which saves you a little bit of time. Eventually we'll have to get some aura towers, but it's possible that blue might end up making those for me. Doesn't really matter either way. The aura towers give, at level 1, 25% bonus damage, 1 armor, and 8% attack speed, so it's pretty minor. The only one I recommend getting in the early game is the damage aura, because 1 armor is completely unnoticeable. Alright, with that we now have our 3rd harvester, which means it is time to create our pig farm. The pig farm is a structure that allows you to generate gold every time the income cycle goes off. You get 1 gold by default, but it can be upgraded about 10 times, and the final level I think gives you like 150, maybe a bit more. So yeah, very important to focus on upgrades instead of focusing on building multiple, because 20 wood for 2 level 1 sheep farms is 2 gold income, whereas, yeah, it just gets much more cost effective as it ranks up. Eventually, we'll be spending 70 wood for 15 gold, and yeah, this ends up much better. Now, our income, once we end up maxing out the advanced speed harvesting upgrade, should be high enough to sustain multiple different farms at the same time. So I'll be doing, yeah, just be upgrading 2 of them simultaneously. I'll go a little bit greedy here because I have blue and get the advanced speed harvesting upgrade again. Normally, if I didn't have him, I would probably have gotten an extra tower upgrade there, but we didn't have to.
Research complete. Upgrade complete. We need more lumber. We need more
Usually,
lumber.
because I go for 3 harvesters first, whereas a lot of players don't, that means I will surpass their income after a little bit. And it looks like... oh wait, this is orange, not yellow.
Our town is under
Yeah, it
attack.
looks like that's the case for yellow here. He has 1 murloc farm, but he has no harvesters, which means I should overtake him within the next few minutes. Yeah, going for gold first tends to give you a slight lead early on, but then you fall behind.
More lumber. Our allied town is being attacked.
Okay, so I'm up to 35 income, and I think this rabbit farm's guaranteed to be done before the next wave, which means I should have 50 income, which would put me in tie for 3rd. Also, if you guys like my content, consider liking and subscribing. I do Saturday live streams where I play games with the viewers, so if that's something you're interested in, you should go ahead and subscribe.
Our allied town is
Also,
being
let me know
attacked.
about what you think about this game, and if this is the correct version. As I mentioned, there's a 1 wall, 2 wall, and 3 wall version. To me, it seems like the 3 wall is a little bit silly, just considering the fact that you have a 3 worker limit, but who knows, maybe you're only supposed to have 1 worker per wall.
Being attacked.
The 1 wall... yeah. 1 wall, just relative to your limits, seems like that's the real version, but it's tough to say. Okay, I should probably upgrade these little pebbles. Each time you upgrade the wall, it gets 150 bonus HP. So my wall now has 450 HP instead of the starting 150, which was more than enough to take it out of the danger zone for these early units.
Ready to work. Complete.
Unfortunately, I spent just a hair too much gold there, and now I can't get another speed harvesting upgrade.
Our
There's only
town is being attacked.
somewhere in the ballpark of 4 or 5 speed harvesting upgrades to begin with, so missing out on the final one is pretty unfortunate.
Yes.
And once you make your worker, go ahead and set it to auto repair. Just makes things a lot simpler.
Our allied town is being
Yep.
attacked.
And it looks like I have now reached the highest income level. And amusingly, I am the only person in a double base. Okay, 165. Now's about the time to start making the blacksmiths. Blacksmiths cost 30 wood each, so that will set me behind a little bit. But blacksmiths allow you to convert, or, well, basically it's a gold research that'll boost the armor and HP of your wall. The HP upgrade is extremely minimal, but the armor upgrade is quite important. The armor upgrade gives you 1 armor per level, and HP gives you 25 per level. And the final wall of the game has 10,000 HP, which means the 25 is just... it ends up boosting your wall HP by like 5%, whereas the armor upgrade will end up boosting it by 30 or 40%, which is just much more significant. The first few levels at the blacksmith for the research will be pretty quick. After that, though, they'll start taking like 50 seconds and then eventually several minutes, so you don't have to micromanage it too much.
Research complete. Something need doing?
Alright, let's get that speed harvest, or yeah, the speed upgrade that I had mentioned earlier. Slipped my mind for whatever reason, because I usually had finished upgrading it by this point. That'll probably set me back by like 50 wood. And one more, and that should be it. So I'm going to start creating a second pig farm. There's only one level remaining of the... Yeah, the next level is the Coda farm, and after that it's maxed out, which means you want to have your next farm ready to go so that you can start those upgrades quickly. In this case, I think it probably would have been better to start the Coda upgrade first, just because it gives 60 income instead of 1.
We need more lumber. We need more lumber.
Okay, now we can start getting those sheep farm upgrades. And there's not too much more that we need to urgently spend our gold on, so we can start upgrading my tower. We'll just, yeah, I think we can put all the money into it, and I'll go ahead and make the Damage Aura Tower now. Try to place your Damage Aura Towers as far back as possible. The range on it is pretty enormous, and you want to use all the space that you have on towers to kill the enemies.
Upgrade complete.
Yeah, because the final boss of this game is extremely durable, so if you only have...
Being attacked.
Basically, you need every single tower you can get. Because this game's tower system, as you may have already noticed, is the tower upgrades get less cost effective as it goes on, because they're linear, which means the gold upgrade just keeps going up, but the damage improvement stays the same. So the level 2 upgrade for this tower costs 8 gold for 2 bonus damage, and the level 11 upgrade costs 35 gold for 2 damage. So going and getting multiple towers is noticeably better than having only one. Of course, just due to space limitations, that does not mean that you will be able to just spam towers, just because towers only have 700 range. But we will be filling this up with mostly towers that are at about half their maximum upgrade potential, because past that point it's just too cost ineffective. For good measure, we can get one more level in each wall, just really make sure we don't get a surprise death. And because I have a little bit of surplus wood, I'm going to go ahead and... Let's make sure I didn't trap myself, good. I'm going to go ahead and get another worker. Looks like a few players have left. I wasn't paying close enough attention to know if they died, but we'll go ahead and take a look at all the players in the game in a moment. So, Pink. 3 walls, a couple towers. His towers are able to distract the enemies from his wall. Seems like a pretty solid base setup. And then, who else do we have? Yellow. Okay. Base is okay. Has a decent amount of room for towers. I don't think it has any notable advantages over my current base. Seems like he's surviving just fine so far. And then we have light blue. This base is going to be a bit small, but it is a pretty decent space allocation for towers. Seems like a solid choice, and seems like he's doing just fine. If we take a look at the kill stats, we should see who's in the safest bases right now. And it seems like whoever killed the most died, so I'm guessing that was the person in the most dangerous base. That is position number 6, which would be Orange, who just left recently, so he probably did die, if I had to guess. Set another worker to auto-repair here. Bubba has died. I think that was probably caught just in my peripheral view here, but I did not observe that. I'm assuming he just had a few too many units hitting him. But just in case, I'm going to go ahead and make that third worker now. Oh, actually that was Bubba himself. Should have done a little bit more target fire. Yeah, when you die, for whatever reason it spawns you on the undead team. Most people just seem to leave, but... that you do get to keep playing, and you're actually against the humans, so. Which, as I've explained in Jurassic Park, I'm actually not a big fan of that, because then it makes the game inconsistent. Like, let's just say they can have a big impact on your survivability. I actually don't know, because everyone always leaves. Then suddenly it's like, well, if I would have won normally, this strategy no longer works, and it's not really my fault, it's just because someone else left, and now I'm getting overwhelmed. So yeah, not a fan of that. If they want to give players something to do after they should die, they should just let you keep playing. I mean, This game doesn't really allow for recovery anyway, so I think it'd be fine if your main survivor was just... Well, I was going to say it'd be fine if your main survivor was invulnerable, but that's not the case. What I think they could do is something like Fortress Survival. Maybe make it like so you can be revived, and if you're revived, you go into an inferior form, where if you die again, you're gone forever. Something like that. Alright, we've maxed out our speed tower. Nice low cost effectiveness. It has 40 base damage, and thanks to our damage aura tower, it is getting 50% bonus, which we can then upgrade eventually to 125%. Looks like we have another stowaway coming to our base. We have Gray here now. We do have a very small amount of space for him to maybe use his... Oh, actually, you know what? He could build a harvester in the bottom right. That'd be fine. Also, I'm falling a little bit behind on income here because I was sidetracked. I could have started this Kodo farm quite a while ago.
Our allied town is being attacked. Work complete.
Because of that mistake, that does mean I have some time to get multiple pig farms up because I have surplus wood. So I'm going to make 2
Work complete.
instead of the usual 1 extra.
Being attacked. Upgrade complete.
So for the final boss, he has hero armor, which means that the flame tower is the best possible tower you can make if you're trying to win the game. If you're just trying to survive, I think the Chaos Tower is actually slightly more cost effective, because the Chaos Tower has higher base damage, and I think its attack speed relative to the Flame just nets a higher DPS overall. Looks like Gray doesn't have a bunker up, which should mean that he can't build anything, which is good. Yeah, as I already mentioned, this base does not have spare space, so I'm hoping he doesn't find a way to build.
Our allied town
Oh,
is
what do you know?
being attacked.
There's Green's headquarters. And Gray can't blink for another 10 to 15 seconds, so let's see if he makes it back. Okay. I think his odds of making it back are quite high.
Town is being attacked.
Alright, now that we're up to the frog farm, we need to start saving our wood to prioritize one farm.
Town is under attack.
Oh, neat. Nice. He's actually just making his own little base here. Now that I think about it, if you were colluding with the technically enemy team of Bubba, he could probably make 3 structures here that the enemies would not be able to attack because he's allied. So if he just built 3 zombie farms or something, that'd be an easy way to win the game. So I guess that's a maximum noob strategy for you. If you can't beat the game normally, play with 1 extra player, have them build some structures in front of your base, and you're good to go.
Our allied town is being attacked.
You can also, to a minor extent, do that as a human player as well, because your workers are all invulnerable. So if you had 2 players like we do, we could move all of our workers and repairmen here, and just build a solid line to prevent enemies from attacking. Alright, I'm going to focus fire the flying structures. Or flying enemies. And I'm going to get a couple of wall upgrades. No reason to risk a death.
Upgrade complete. Our
Looks like I accidentally put both upgrades on the same blacksmith. So, next up, we do have some spare food. Should probably get some towers up to assist. Yeah. Since really all... Well... Yeah, I don't think it's too big of a deal getting past any enemies besides the boss, so I'll probably just focus on flame towers as well. If we get 30 flame towers, it'd probably be enough to take out the boss. Even then, though, it'd still be a bit tight. The boss has a lot of HP, and I think he has like 25 armor. He's just a hard boss. Okay, let's do a damage upgrade. And you know what, we can just max out the damage upgrade. The final level is not that expensive, it's only 300 gold, which relative to the strength of our towers is probably more cost effective than upgrading any specific one. And it looks like our double base is in fact the only base remaining. Yeah, the extra DPS from my towers there will hopefully hopefully tip this hopefully tip the scales back in our favor. However, with every single player gone, This is going to be, as you can see, the walls really are not that powerful. And this is why I suspect the 3-wall version seems a little bit poorly designed. Like, this doesn't feel like you have much player agency here. If I didn't have blue, who I didn't even want, we wouldn't have the capability of repairing all of these towers simultaneously. So instead of feeling like this is a high challenge, or a hard challenge, it just feels a little bit unfair. Because yeah, I've been upgrading my walls. Due to some minor mistakes, they might have like 1 less armor than they're supposed to. And I mean, we survived that, but odds are I probably wouldn't have if this wasn't a double base. Yeah, if I were to make a modification to this game, I would probably triple the worker limit and harvester limit, just so any single player has much higher potential, or I would reduce the base entrance size to 1. Either way. Yeah, but you should let me know what you guys think. Does this seem reasonable to you, that you actually can't even repair your walls enough to keep your base alive as one player? Okay, time for another sheep farm. Also, it is worth mentioning that the only reason why this is high difficulty and therefore requiring a second player is because so many other players already lost. If we had a higher skill level lobby, and let's say we had 4 people alive right now, odds are we'd be just fine. Because this is essentially, well, let's just say we had 4 people alive earlier. This is quadrupling the amount of enemies that we would normally be fighting against at this point. And yeah, it's just doing a ton of damage. Kind of the classic, I'm not going to call it problem, but the classic survival game circumstance where the worse your lobby is, the game just gets exponentially harder. You actually experience this in Infection Attack as well, and several other games, where it seems like the amount of enemies is balanced around multiple players. So if you don't have multiple, then DPS tends to be pretty high. Or the enemy count. Okay. Wall upgrade is 39, we could upgrade all of these. But each independent wall upgrade, once again, much like the towers, does not get more cost effective, which means the next wall will only get an extra 150, an extra 1 armor, so probably would end up improving our survivability more so to focus on towers right now. Okay, Flame Tower level 3, Flame Tower level 4. Normally I would get those up to level 5, but because we are in a little bit of a DPS pinch here, I think I will instead focus on getting some extra towers because we just need the damage. So, this looks pretty good. I want to keep a 1x1 gap so that workers can walk through. Even though flame towers are pretty much, I think, objectively the best for the final boss, the other units, or the other towers are better against these low-level units, so I think I will start to make some chaos towers. I don't care about siege towers at all, so I'm not going to focus on that. That is a lot of flying units. Maybe I should have... So first off, let's focus on repairing the wall. But maybe I should have put my towers lower, just considering their low attack range. Okay, yeah, let's focus on the lower ones first. We'll put up a normal tower here, because this is not a good tower. We'll get it to level 10, and then start focusing on the others. We can get that one to level 5 while we wait. I guess all of these could be flame. That's fine. Okay, so then we'll put these 2 towers into chaos. I'm also going to make a gem, which will allow me to get some basic upgrades for my survivor. It'll increase my HP, and it will also increase my armor, which I want to do just because a flyer could come over the side, and kill me, which would be suboptimal. Each health upgrade gives you 50 additional HP, and I'm not sure on the armor. I think it might be 2 armor per level. We'll see in a moment.
Research complete. Upgrade complete.
Armor, yeah, 2 armor per level. So our objective here should be to get around 1000 HP and at least 50% damage reduction. That way, yeah, that should be enough to prevent any accidental death.
Research complete.
Okay. Let's upgrade each of these flame towers. This is the one downside to auto repair. Because my units can't reach this flame tower, it'll just end up sending my workers over there for no reason. Yeah. It'd be nice if there was a hold position auto repair, but from what I can tell, hold position just completely disables the functionality of auto repair, so that doesn't work. Looks like all of these except for the armor tower have been maxed out. Armor tower goes up to 9, so there's 2 upgrades remaining. Also, I'm just noticing these little bats, I think, are the Bat Rider, which is just amusing because I think he says like a Jamaican accent. Just a very mismatched voice model there. Yeah, this tower's probably going to die. Unfortunate, but I guess technically you could place a wall there, but I'm pretty sure the units would hit the towers either way. Time for another pig farm. We'll place it here to prevent path. Actually, you know what? Let's place it here. Then we can just do a slightly different space arrangement. Yeah, okay. The other workers keep running up here. Maybe I should have just blocked it. That seems like a good enough time to get another level of upgrade on each of my walls. Maybe another 2 or 3 even. Actually, you know what? It looks like the walls aren't like the other ones. These are increasing in health bonuses per level. With that in mind, there is actually some merit to getting early wall upgrades. And higher levels of it. Let's do one more of each of these. Okay, 78, we can do one more. I think my wall was at 2000 HP before, so we've just doubled our effective HP in about 5 upgrades. Pretty solid, especially relative to the other towers. Because it's so cheap, I'm going to get this normal tower up to level 20. Getting it to level 20 is about the same as getting most other towers to level 2, so... or maybe level 3. But yeah, I figure if I have to waste a tower slot, I might as well get the most damage out of it.
Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. What do you want?
Yeah, we are doing... that unit just got killed extremely quickly. Kodo farm. Alright, we can start upgrading these then. Yeah, blue is definitely in the safer harvesting spot. If I wanted to, I could actually move my survivor to the bottom right, which would probably be reasonably safe to harvest as well. There's no risk of these workers dying because they're invulnerable.
Research complete. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. We need more towers.
Swanky Orc has left the game, and with that, it's just Blue and I. It seems like the extra durability of the walls is coming in handy. Of course, my workers aren't actually repairing here, so it's actually not even as risky as it even seems, and it's not even risky right now. Okay, 200. Yep, we can upgrade these Chaos Towers, which I actually both left at level 1. Get those up to level... we can stop at 4 for now. Still need a couple more towers over here. It's possible this row Might not be able to hit the ranged units. Can definitely hit the melee though. Okay, 18 means I need another food box. Can I still gather? Yes, I can. Okay. Let's go place the towers.
Work complete.
Looks like Blue's income is pretty comparable to mine at the moment.
Work complete.
He is at 1236. I am at 1251.
Upgrade complete. Work complete.
Maybe I shouldn't have taken all these tower slots for myself. I'll leave some for Blue. At the end of the day, leaving some slots for him to put in good towers should work out nicely.
We need more lumber. We need more lumber. Complete. Upgrade complete. Research
Okay,
complete.
our walls are now up to level 18 on armor, which means they get 18 bonus armor. It's just 1 armor per point listed here, which means our durability is at 71% instead of, I'd probably ballpark it at 50, so a pretty solid boost. Okay, let's get some uranium walls.
Upgrade complete.
Yeah, let's see here. So 5 Kodo farms, 5 Kodo farms. I have Hermit Crab farm in construction. He's at lava. Yeah, we're really at basically the same point.
We need more lumber. Research.
Which actually means I've probably been playing slightly suboptimally, because I got a second harvester when he was still getting his, when he made a worker. So, but I am out of wood, so I guess it could just be that I've spent a little bit too much time placing towers, perhaps? This is the level 10 flame tower, which I do not recommend getting just due to its poor cost effectiveness. He can, instead of that, could have built another 3 level, let's just say 3 towers, which is the equivalent of a level 10. And when I say extra, I mean in total he'd have 4 level 3 towers.
Research complete. We need more lumber. We need more lumber. Research complete.
Let's get 1 more level on each Chaos Tower, and then upgrade this Flame Tower, which I seemingly left on level 1.
Upgrade complete. What do you want? Research complete.
Okay. 1050. We could squeeze an extra pig farm right here. And then we could just blink around it. Slightly inconvenient. We'll put it here for now. The less time we have to waste on impossible passing or pathing, the better.
Work complete. Upgrade complete.
Okay.
Upgrade complete.
Time for some wall upgrades. We're on wave 13, so there's still 7 waves to go.
Upgrade complete. Our tower is under attack. Upgrade complete. Research complete.
Okay, 2200. Which means we can either get 1 level of each Chaos Tower, and let's just do that. And it looks like he's maxed out the armor aura, bringing it up to 9. And thanks to that, our walls are up to 74% damage reduction now. Odds are that just based at the current rate of upgrading, our walls will probably stop at around 77% reduction. Actually, it could be slightly more than that, because we also will get a little bit of armor just from, we get 1 armor per level, so. A lot of the wall assets end up getting reused. This topaz wall, I'm pretty sure there's been like 4 blue walls by this point.
Upgrade complete.
Okay, survivors up to 550 and 12 armor. Definitely a solid durability boost. I now have about 3 times the HP as the base survivor.
Upgrade complete. We need more.
Yeah, actually, it's a good thing I didn't have money for that either way. This flame tower is guaranteed to die. Well, very likely. It seemed like the flying units stopped. Perhaps those only come on even waves or odd waves. I'll have to pay attention next time. It does announce what types of units will be attacking you.
Research complete. Something to do it. Upgrade complete. We need more lumber.
Yep, there we go. As pretty much expected, that tower has died. Which is pretty good, honestly, because that means the workers should... Actually, you know what? Because this tower was just damaged, that means the workers will continue to run up there for no reason. Well, for a reason, just a useless reason. That'd actually be a nice AI improvement if they made it so towers could, or auto repair would only trigger if the workers could actually reach the destination. Pretty big pack of flyers coming from the south. Alright, this wall is taking a beating right now. Yeah, just need to manually target the flyers. And it looks like only one of these can actually hit the flyer. Got a few extra upgrades here, just to prevent the wall's death.
Upgrade complete.
Okay. Level 4 Chaos Towers, pretty good. Guess we can make all the walls consistently upgraded.
Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete.
Also, it's about time to build one more pig farm.
Upgrade complete.
Alright, we'll place it here. Sucks, but oh well. That'll set us back a little bit in terms of income, just because we won't be getting quite as much wood.
Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. Research complete.
So we're now reaching the point where our walls are almost maxed out. The wall has 9,125 HP. There are 2 wall upgrades left, which means our walls will get 1,000 extra HP, and then that's going to be it. So from this point, we just have to hope that the rate of the unit's improvement will not be high enough to take out our walls.
What do you want?
And in single player, or not single player, in with multiple players alive, this would be a non-issue. But wave 15, walls have gotten low a couple times. Wouldn't surprise me if the walls end up falling around wave 19. Okay, let's send all these workers back. Yeah, the real problem here is just we don't take out the flying units quickly enough, and that's pretty problematic. Yeah, we can finish maxing the wall out, but that trick's only going to work one more time. Platinum wall is the final level, which means we're not getting any better.
Upgrade complete.
We could squeeze in an extra tower, but that's obviously suboptimal. I think there might be one tower with 800 range. the magic tower... No, I don't think that's the case.
Upgrade complete.
Yeah, this is a pretty bad spot for the speed tower. There's such low DPS.
Research complete. Upgrade research complete.
Alright, with that, we now have all 3 walls maxed out. 10,800 HP, which means about 800 of that is coming from the blacksmith, and the remaining 10,000 is from levels.
Something you doing?
Which, as I had mentioned at the start of the game, you get about a 10% boost from the upgrade.
Research complete. Research complete. Our town is under attack.
Looks like I have fallen behind a little bit on the wood, which means I need to make multiple Kodo farms to keep up. Or multiple pig farms, that is. I guess I could blink this worker over, get him started on some repairs.
Upgrade complete. Our town is under attack. What do you want?
It is the advantage of having this spot. I guess you could, yeah, leave a 1x1 gap. That wouldn't affect your towers too much. Yeah, I think we sell the speed tower just to get something a little more relevant in there. But we'll have to wait for the next gap in the enemies. Yeah, level 6 tower, suboptimal, but I guess we'll do it anyway.
Something you doing? Upgrade complete. Research complete. Research complete. Research complete. Something you research complete. What do you want?
Yeah. These melee units all die at a reasonable rate. We could... No, that wouldn't work. I was going to say we could move our walls back one. But the time it would take to upgrade the walls would just be complete failure.
What do you want? Something you doing?
We do have the maximum hold position now. To block out every space. Strangely, the top wall is actually taking a fair amount of damage this time. Now, let me blink my survivor out, get in 2 more tower slots. Guess we can repair with my survivor for the moment while we wait for blink. These can become... Boulder towers aren't bad, they're pretty average. I'll just go for chaos.
Upgrade complete.
Yeah, the boulder towers do an extra 50 damage over chaos, but of course you have the slightly inferior siege type, so I think it balances out to be about the same. And I'm pretty sure they have the same range and attack speed.
Research complete. Upgrade complete. What research complete?
Also, it looks like I need another pig farm.
Wheat brains.
Yeah, we really just don't have the space. Blue has some space, but he's leaving his side open, so I guess I won't take it. I could probably put one there.
Research complete.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm just going to miss out on about 2 Kodo farms, I'd say. Which means I'll have a net of 1,000 gold less. I guess I could get rid of these blacksmiths. Or I could get rid of the gym as well. My survivor is pretty upgraded at this point. 750 HP is enough to not worry about anything. Nice. They're actually attacking the top towers. Or maybe not quite as nice as I was hoping, because these towers are getting annihilated. Okay, just lost about 1,000 gold there. Yeah, let me focus fire them. Yeah, the flame towers do not do that much damage. Okay, focus the top wall. All walls are falling. This is probably going to be the end of us. No wall upgrades remain. I could send out the main survivor. Would that make a difference? Not really. Middle wall needs the most repairs. Now the bottom wall. Middle wall has fallen, but that's actually okay. We can fill in the gap with workers. Okay, let me blink my worker out, put up a new wall. After taking out the flying unit, we actually have a little bit of gap here, because the wave won't spawn for 15 seconds.
Upgrade complete.
I mean, I guess, why not? We'll upgrade these, but it's pretty suboptimal.
Upgrade complete. Wheat brains. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. Research complete. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete.
I don't think my villager will be at any risk, but I'll probably back him up after the first melee units arrive. Yeah, this is good enough. Well, then again, top spot isn't in that much risk to repair. Yeah, these little shadow dragons are quite problematic. Even focus firing them, they just do not die quickly. If I repair with my villager, it's pretty much guaranteed that he'll die. Took out the flyers, but now they're coming through the entrance. Alright. Oh, no, yeah, these don't have blink, which means I can't actually get them to block. So, there we go. This this is game over. Got to wave 19. In fact, it might, well, if blue didn't leave, it probably would have taken about 60 seconds for our base to get destroyed, which meant we could have briefly shown off the boss. But yeah. Well, Since I am the last player when I die, it's not going to allow me to showcase the zombie mode, so this will just be it here. Guess we can get some quick last minute damage upgrades in the gym. And there we go. Oh, actually we do get that. Nope, we don't. Okay, so game ends in 10 seconds. So that's zombie survival. I have beaten this game before, and as I had mentioned earlier, it really just depends on how many players you have remaining. As you can see, normal mode is designed for, I think it's at 5 to 7 players, and we had 2, so we were essentially getting attacked by twice as many units as we really should have been. And yeah. So, back to what I had said earlier. Personally, I'm not too big of a fan of this game's limited player agency. The difference between a maximum income and just a pretty good income is at most like 5 to 10% different, and it just really seems like it limits you a little bit too much in that regard. But yeah, this game is, personally I would not really recommend it, just because I feel like if you're looking for base survival games, there are much better choices that you could go for instead. My personal recommendation, of course, would be Fortress Survival. Kind of think of that as the premier base survival game. But yeah, so that's it for this video. If you guys liked it, consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one.